And we are live. Good evening, alienated parents, grandparents, alienated children, family, friends worldwide. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Talk on parent alienation and family domestic violence. We are in a pandemic of having our children stripped from us and our grandchildren during court battles, and we have some horror stories worldwide that need to be brought out so everyone can understand what we are going through as alienated parents and grandparents, siblings. We have cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone that we are taken from. And we need to stop this due to family court, um, people going through divorces, separations, and it doesn't really have to be in court. Sometimes it just happens outside in the family world. Tonight we have Scott Demeuse. He is an alienated grandfather. He's a father of three boys that have a set of twins, and two of them have children. I believe two or all three, but he's got six grandchildren, and he is alienated from three recently, after they were living with him. And it's been a few months since he's last seen these kids. But the story is that he got caught between a hard rock and a stone because he was trying to keep conflict down and had to call CPS to get some kind of rectification for these grandchildren of his, because I'm going to let Scott tell you why. Many of us are going through it. Children worldwide are dealing with addictions and don't know how to deal with everyday life due to parent alienation. And Scott's family is an example to it all. Scott, thank you so much, all the way from Michigan, US, across our border here in Canada. We're not that far away, but it just goes to show that we all go through stuff like this no matter where we are. So welcome, Scott. I'm going to get you to tell us your story. You could start from the beginning. You could start from wherever you'd like.
Okay, well, on June 24th, the mother had showed up here and ended up taking the kids out to Bessemer, where her sister is. And that's 3 hours from here. So they got uplifted from their schools, their church, their family, their cousins, everybody, and got thrown into a big mess, really. CPS put them on a road of destruction.
Mm.
You know, what they done, it was a hard decision to call on your own kid in the beginning. Then once we called CPS, we thought they would do their job. That's what we thought they would do. They failed in every direction. You know, they didn't even come look at our house. They didn't even come interview us to see it while keeping them here, because they were taking them away from their dad and their mom. They lost their parental rights. So they went into foster care. My grandkids shouldn't be in foster care. I was a foster kid when I was young. And when people love somebody and they want them, there's no reason for CPS to give $1,700 to somebody, or with taxpayers' money, to somebody that they barely even know. And then where my grandkids are right now, their background that she's got is like 3 drunk drive-ins, I believe 2 domestics, and a brother come out of prison for almost killing a 4-year-old. That's what my grandkids are. And every time you go call CPS, they do not even respond. They don't give you a call back. You know, I went down there protesting, and they ignore you like we don't exist. Then we told them that because my grandkids had cell phones that I was providing for a couple of years, and the grandkids would call me and text me at night and tell me, you know, they want to come back, they miss me, and they love us, you know. And then we had a meeting with CPS, and we mentioned that they want to come back here. And they asked me, how did I find that out? I told them because the grandkids, text me every night. So they found that out, so they ended up taking the phones away from them too.
Wow. How old are they?
14, 14 and 11 and 7, I believe. There were 2 boys and 1 girl.
So
So
now that you don't see them,
I did see them today under supervised visitation for 1 hour.
oh, well, that's good that you did get to see them.
I'm
And
50.
how are they mentally when they saw you?
Well, they miss me. What they're doing is screwing their heads up. They want to come back here. And mentally, they're taking the best they can out of it. But, they wanna.
Yes, yeah. Uh, um, when you saw them, were you alone with them, or was there a
No,
parent?
there was somebody there. One of the workers I'd never seen before. So, but you couldn't really, talk when you got somebody over your shoulder.
So they're hoovering you over you while you're trying to have a visit with your grandchildren.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, eh? Yeah, it makes it quite difficult for the children to speak to
Yep.
you.
Then
Um,
my
they're
wife didn't want me doing this even because they might hold it against the kids for coming down now by doing this.
well, we ask you not to say anything that you might jeopardize your relationship. So, but it's really, you're not doing anything wrong by, speaking out.
No, my wife wrote a letter to the judge, and last time the kids came up here, they went to my son's house. Excuse me, went to my son's house, and but we were not allowed to go there. My wife wasn't because she wrote a letter to the judge. That was the reason. And my reason is because I'm protesting. You know, they're playing God with our kids, really,
Yes,
and you're getting money off of it. It's
they,
called trafficking kids. That's what's going on.
absolutely. Child trafficking through the legal system.
They do not care a bit about the kids. They don't ask the kids nothing.
No.
You know, they're concerned with how much money they get off of per kid. And then if they get prescription drugs, what to them? Therapy. They need love. They don't need therapy, but they get extra money for that also.
Yes. That's all they're really looking for is the money.
And that's
Um,
all it is.
that's all it is. And they are stripping families to hide the fact that these children are abused. They don't care what happens to our kids, especially once they turn 18. There's no help for them out there after the fact. I noticed that with my own kids. Once they turned 18, the courts turned their backs on them, but the alienating parent can keep bringing them back to court to abuse the targeted parent by using these kids. These kids become more damaged each time they're used in the court system.
Yes, they
So
are very, very much so.
when you raised your boys, were you raised together as a family? You were saying you were uh in the foster care yourself.
Yeah, when I at a young age, then I met my wife, and I believe I was 14 years old when I met my wife, and we were, excuse me, and we've been married ever since. Probably we got married probably when I met her when I was 14. I had my kids when I was 16, and we've been together ever since. And I'm 53 now.
So your kids were brought up in a good environment, a
Yep.
healthy relationship, and here they are hooked up with someone that probably, I don't know what her relationship was with her family, but it just goes to show that it could happen whether you're separated or not in your case.
Oh yeah, they were great kids all the way to 33 years old. My kids were, the twins. And then all of a sudden, 30, 40 got hooked on drugs, and then it went downhill from there.
Wow. That's, that's at such a later age in life to be hooked on to some form of addiction.
Yes, it is.
It's sad, especially when they have their own kids now to take care of and to lead by example.
Yeah, they were together almost, I think, 18 years, the mom and dad.
So do the kids, the grandchildren, do they get to have a relationship with their father and mother at the same time?
At the same time, no, they go see him, they supervise visits.
To the father?
The father supervised visits too, but it's all set up through CPS.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the mother has full custody.
No, she lost her rights.
She lost the right.
CPS, their kids are in foster care right now. They shouldn't have a be in foster care. You know,
Wow.
they,
And they were living with you for 2 months before they were taken.
pretty much, yeah, about 2.5 months. Eh?
And what was the reasoning for foster care to come and take them from you?
I have no idea. When we called them, then they talked about a safe plan, removing the kids in with a safe plan. And so she ended up, the mom bringing the kids out to Besmer, and they made a safe plan with the two that they're taking the kids from, with the mom and dad. I don't know if you're
Wow.
familiar with a safe plan, what they talk about.
A safe plan.
Yeah,
What,
but to remove the kids in a case of emergency in the process.
right?
Yeah, but they set it up with the mother and the father, which is kind of, they're taking the kids from them. Why would you set something up with them? I thought they would talk to us about it, but they didn't even talk to us at all.
So they just decided upon themselves to do it.
Yeah.
Wow. So now that these kids are much older, do they not have a say when they're in foster care?
Apparently not, because Carter's 14 and there was a state trooper here because I had to give him back. And he asked if he could ask him a couple questions. I said, no, that's fine. Go ahead. And he asked Carter, does he feel safe around his mother? And he said, sometimes, you know, where do you want to stay? He said he wants to stay with his grandpa. And then they end up crying and taking him anyways.
So even at his voice, he was refused at 14.
Oh,
Yet
yeah.
the family court judges take children and ask them at 12 who they want to live with. And so these children get to choose at 12 years old, but your grandson at 14 doesn't get a say to come live with a loving grandfather and grandmother.
No.
Something's up with that situation because, these children are being tortured and their voices are not being heard through CPS.
And it's all for money, which is sick.
That is just horrifying. Um, I,
I was born and raised in this town. I owned a business for probably 20 years, 25 years in this town. Everybody pretty much knows me. I'm very honest and a very good, caring person. But then you get these people that work for CPS, Jessica Chevalier is heartless, totally heartless.
and who is she?
She's their caseworker, and she does not care about nothing.
Wow. Some of these caseworkers are not even registered to do what they're doing. We
Very
have to look we have to look at their credentials. They're inexperienced, they're young, they think they know something, but really they are hurting families, they're damaging families, and they have no clue on how to raise a family because they don't even have kids of their own.
No, they're very unprofessional. That's why we got like 370 kids dead since like 13 years now, only in the state of Michigan. 370 kids are dead, only in the state of Michigan.
Wow.
Under their watch.
Through CPS.
Yes.
That's insane. That's
That,
that's
that,
that's just
what,
horrifying.
what does it take? 400, 500 before somebody speaks up with them?
where are these kids going? What are they doing to them? Like, this is just, wow, it's not even
It's
a
almost,
joke anymore to put your kids outside to play.
I believe 33 got killed since 2020.
Oh my gosh. These
Yeah.
innocent children, all they want to be is loved, and they get tortured.
Put them on therapy, put them, that's where they get messed up is, they don't need that therapy. They need to be loved like they were getting.
Yes, they need stable homes. They need sit down dinners, bedtime. They need grandma and grandpa's love. The grandparents have the more affectionate love that these kids need to be nurtured. Us as parents, we are parents, and we are the ones that set the ground rules for these kids to grow normal, healthy. But when it comes to the grandparents don't raise them to be strict. They raise them to be loved.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be, I guess, disciplinarian. We're supposed to be the spoilers, I guess.
Yes. And then it gets taken away
Yeah,
from you. I know my own children, they're adults. My youngest already wrote and said that I will never see my grandchildren. And when she does, she will tell them that I was an abusive mother to her, and yet she's never been abused. So, these kids are mindset before the kids even come.
yeah,
So, but in your case, it's all drugs that are keeping your grandchildren away from you, and you're not even doing the drugs because it's the mother and the father.
yeah. And then I went in the courthouse when the kids were having a talk about where the placement is, where the kids are.
Right?
And then the assistant prosecuting attorney, Beth Wickwire, stood up in court and told me that told the judge that me and my wife was thoroughly investigated and we're not capable to take care of them now. Which they
Oh,
never called us one time. They don't even know where I live. That was a 100% complete lie.
and how did they come to that conclusion?
I, CPS must have told them something, a lie or something. They live off lies, and I tell you, that was like a big sinker hit my gut. Like I'm not capable of taking care of them. That's why I'm not going to quit until something's done.
Oh wow, that's insane. You've been gaslit without any evidence, any proof.
But to say that in court to a judge, it's a downright 100% lie.
And usually that's what, the judges take our lies. They bank on people lying to them so that they can prolong the process and make more money for the courts.
They
So
don't CPS. They don't solve solutions. If they
no,
did that, they don't get money by solving solutions. They get money by creating
by
solutions.
creating it, yes, conflict. They call us high conflict divorces or high conflict whatever separations, and yet it's them that's causing all the conflict.
Yes.
It's, they can't have two loving um, parents to be separated. I mean, that's what happens. Two loving parents go into the family court system, and then all of a sudden, one is an abuser and the other one is fighting for their life to see the kids. These false allegations that are coming from the Office of the Children, from CPS, from guardian ad litem, from therapists, and they're not taken seriously. They
No.
say they're taking it seriously, but they're not. There's no investigations. There's no proof.
No. The ones that hurt the most are the kids, and
Yeah,
that's what it is. And they don't seem to do well. They just simply don't care. That's what it is.
but that's it. And then they put the children into the position to choose a parent, and more than 99% of the time, the children choose the parent that's more abusive for the simple fact that they fear that if they don't go with the abuser, they will be punished for the rest of their lives. And so if they go with the abusive parent, they think that they're going to be okay with them. But yet conflict keeps arising because they're being taken away from another parent that really wants to be there,
Yes, yes.
right?
Oh yeah.
So in your situation, I don't understand why they wouldn't allow you um, to continue to raise the kids, because your own kids, your boys, you have a relationship with them.
With my twin boys,
Yes.
not really that good in that sense. They've been on drugs now.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't even want them around here now.
oh, is that right? It's that bad?
Yeah.
Hmm. So in that situation,
I'll talk to him once in a while here around, but not. It's usually not really like it used to be.
no.
No,
Wow. So what are you doing now? Because you're just getting visiting hours, visiting,
I didn't
what do you
even
get,
know
an
I was.
hour?
I didn't even know I was getting them until my wife mentioned it to me yesterday, and I don't even know if I'll get any more. You know, they don't let you know. I don't know if I'll see him again, or if they're gonna be coming back up after this, or they're gonna hold something against them because I'm doing this. But so this needs to be told because people don't have to go through what we went through. If they don't want the kids here, then come talk to us and tell me why. Don't just take them and don't answer your phone. Don't get back to me. They don't even know who we are. Just uplift them. Like we're evil. Just uplift them away like we were doing something wrong. And here their kids were getting great grades in school. I was bringing them to school every morning and going to work, and until this came, it just totally turned it around for the worst.
That's so sad. I'm so sorry. So who initiated this visit that you didn't know? Like your wife, the grandma, obviously found out. How did she find out?
I'm not because my other son Adam, he's a straight head on him. He's not on drugs or nothing. So the kid's been going over there like last 2 weekends they've been over there, but I'm not allowed over there because
Oh,
because of me. And then my wife wasn't because she wrote to the judge. But now this weekend she got to see him, and then I got to see him for an hour.
but you didn't know about it.
Not until a couple of days ago. 53 years old, you did nothing wrong. I got about probably three tickets for driving on my background, and my wife got nothing. We got nothing on our records. You know, about three speeding tickets, maybe four. But
So with CPS involved, do you have a lawyer?
I kind of don't believe in them no more.
Okay. So you're self-representing yourself?
We're kind of lost trying to know which way to go.
Oh, you have no one to turn to.
No, because I don't know if you need a good lawyer out of town to get, because I do want to do a few things with CPS, but I want to do it the right way. And right now, I don't know which way to go. I've been just protesting, but I haven't protested in a few weeks even because I've been busy working.
Right?
But
Do you have any advocates around you in Michigan that you could talk to?
mm,
Maybe get some legal advice there, through a law firm or someone that can help you.
I called on down to the congressman. I called the governor. I called a lot of places, and they just give you revolving doors. They don't. The governor's office, the congressman, none of them must not care because they don't do nothing.
What a shame.
I went through so many phone numbers that they kept giving me. It's just a runaround.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This
So
is
if you don't do your job, you fire them. That's what you normally do.
Well, that's it. You know, someone has to, in our government, in our parliaments, Canada, United States, UK, needs to step in and say enough is enough.
Be
I mean,
accountable.
millions of families are dealing with this. And if, grandparents are there to step in and take on what a parent can't do and help them get onto their feet again so that the children can go back to the parents. But yet we have CPS that are taking them away from that parent, and not only from that parent, but from the rest of the family. So these children are getting lost on who they are, where
Like,
they come from, and may never end up back into a loving grandparent, or loving parent, the parent that rehabs themselves.
yeah, they lost their mother with drugs. They lost their dad with drugs. They lost their house to foreclosure, and then CPS comes and breaks their heart again.
That's sad.
It's beyond, if you don't do your job, you should be professional. But no matter what job you do, you take it serious. But obviously, with kids in their hands, they don't care.
No, no. They
And
damage the children more and more.
they must not care. I can't figure out what else to say, but they don't care.
No. Well, that's it. We're scratching our heads just as much too. Um, we have some grandparent support groups that we can recommend to you. Alienated parents and grandparents peer support groups here in Canada. There's a lot of them in the United States as well. I could connect you to them, and maybe they can help you, guide you, or do something that you know we don't know about, that can help you and your grandchildren. Because you did get a visit today. That's a good thing. And you need to keep these visits up and get them more frequent so that the grandchildren um, can, come to you, call you. They should be allowed to call you anytime.
Yes, and I should be allowed to speak my freedom of speech too, without getting something held against the kids too.
Exactly. You should be having the kids should have overnight visits instead of, an hour visit since June.
With somebody over you and listening to everything you say, pretty much.
Yeah. You need your own privacy
Yeah.
so that the kids can feel
Well,
free to
yeah,
talk to you, to give you a hug, a kiss. Kids don't need to have someone in authority looking over their shoulders,
no,
because
we
it's
go ahead.
they're being intimidated, right?
Yeah, we ride dirt bike all the time. We go fishing all the time. We did a lot of things together all the
Mm,
time. And now it's just the dirt bike's set in the garage and everything's just quiet.
wow. So what do you plan on doing now? Like what route do you think you should take?
Truthfully, I just don't want, I don't believe they should have their job. And I do want to sue them for what they put me through and put my grandkids through. There's a lot of things I want to do, but I don't know which way to go with things.
Right.
You know, but I've been getting a lot of stories from people when I protest down there. One mother was lied to for 17 years, said that told her daughter that their mom was dead. That for 17 years, thought she had no mother no more. A lot of these stories I got recorded on my phone. I've been, it's all new to me because I've never been through this. But they need to be held accountable for what they do.
Yes, they do.
Instead of everyone just backing down all the time and not going full, not going through it. But I'm not going to back down. I'm going to go through it, because
Mm.
nobody else needs to go through it.
Well, that's it. And if we stay silent, it's just going to continue. And then the next family tomorrow will go through it. And then another one for
Yeah.
generations. This is not something that hope happens overnight, but it's a generational curse.
We learned one thing though, you always want to protect the kids, But we would never call CPS again. Never,
No,
never.
you never let them in your house.
I would never even call them. They're not there for the kids. They're not.
No, they're there to make money.
That's all they're there for.
Yeah,
And and act like they're bully you around basically. If
absolutely.
you don't do this, then the grandkids are going to get punished. If you don't do that, then they're punished. Why punish the grandkids? If I'm doing this and you don't like it, punish me then.
That's right.
You know, nothing to do with the grandkids. But there'll probably be something out of it that they're not going to like. But it is what it is. You don't treat your job serious then.
Hmm.
Quit hurting these dang kids.
So, okay, I really don't know what to ask anymore because this is so bizarre that
It's not even like it's not even. It's hard to even believe.
it
How they can do it.
it is. It's very hard to believe that
Yeah.
you are helping your children out to be stripped of your grandchildren.
Yep. Now they're in a place where the family's known for violence, and now, like I told a judge that put a training order on me down in Bessemer, I don't want my grandkids to be raised to have three more abusers because their whole family's violent, and I want them on. They're not safe where they're at,
Mhm.
and that's why you end up with 300 and something dead in 13 years because they don't care. They didn't even do a background check on her.
They tend to side with the abusers, so they don't check anything about them.
No, no, it's just frustrating, really.
It is. Wow.
They want you to do things you don't want to do, but you know, it's just saddening, really.
So is there any therapy for the kids? Do you know, like, if are they seeing a therapist?
Well, yeah, they're gonna see a therapist because they get more money for seeing a therapist. That's
Okay.
why I believe they just they didn't need all this, right? They had love right here. That's all they need. But therapists and they don't need that stuff. Now they're coming up with little issues, because what they've been through, and then they keep going through it because CPS is dragging them right through it.
So they're dragging the kids through it, whether you
Well, they
have,
shouldn't be in foster care, period. They shouldn't, because they got people that want them and love them.
that's right.
So they should
That's
not be in there.
that's right. They have grandparents that
Hmm.
they took them from.
Yep, without even asking us anything. They don't even know who we are. Then they go to court and lie, like I said, Beth Wickwire there downright lied in court. They would have came and saw us, they might have got along with us, but we're normal people.
Hmm. Loving people.
Yes, I've been almost married, almost close to probably 35 years now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Raising raising good kids that turn bad. There was nothing you could do about it. They just fell into the wrong
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, they're all doing good.
Wow.
But if we had to do it over, though, and advise nobody to call CPS because they're just going to rip your family apart.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Unexperienced people. It's like having a contractor come. Actually, it happened to me. I hired a contractor, and a week later, my gates blew off today. And then when I look at the job they do. They hung it with 1-inch screws, and the doors were quite heavy. The gates, I should say, were quite heavy. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, is there anybody out there that takes accountability for their own actions today? I mean, we are everywhere we go, we fall into narcissistic abuse. We fall into people with addictions, drugs, alcohol, sexual, um, addictions. There's all kinds of addictions out there. So when our alienated children grow up, they tend to gravitate to someone that's already damaged. So if your grandchildren don't get help today and come back to a loving environment, they're going to end up in the same situation as their mom and dad,
Yeah,
because they've been abused through the foster care system. So they're going to end up with an addiction. And this is what these foster care systems are banking on, that the kids turn into an alcoholic or drugs or prostitution, so that they're making money off of them, because pharmaceutical companies are making money from the get the kids healthy again. They put them on Ritalin. They put them on all kinds of stuff
yeah.
while they're in foster care. They're drugging these kids up to not know
Exactly.
that they're being abused.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories about people telling me that they drug them up and kick them, kick them out to the society. Do what they don't care what you do,
No, they don't care as long as they get paid for it.
and that's the
Well,
sad thing. You
well,
know,
we're coming up to 40 minutes here, Scott. Your story is horrific. It's really sad to see that they take kids from happy people.
exactly. And they don't even know who we are. I could see if I had a background or if I was crazy or something. But they don't even know who we are.
Right. And that's the thing. Like they literally don't
Care.
investigate.
No. And when the
They
kids
just
are, no, where they are now, they didn't do no background.
no, they assume the worst, yet they are the worst, causing more conflict for these young children. It's horrific.
It's called trafficking kids, and it needs to stop.
Yes. It is trafficking children, and millions of children worldwide are going through this.
And people need to open up their eyes. What does it take before people say do anything really? I can't get no help from the congressman or the governor around here. No one even cares. You know,
And this is what we need to do. We need to wake up these politicians today.
well,
And most of them are have their own children that they get to tuck into bed, and we need to say to them, what if that was your child
yeah,
locked up in a foster care? They could be in cages, they could be malnourished,
it,
chained, who knows, raped daily. Who knows what's happening to these kids in foster care? I mean,
exactly
we
what
have
you
it
said.
here in Canada as well. Out down east, we're having a lot of problems with foster care in Canada, and it's almost like they they prey on our kids. They're waiting for our kids so that they could scoop them up and give them to pedophiles and criminals.
Yep.
It's so sick. It's just nasty what's happening to our kids, and they're their caseworkers are telling young women to go prostitute themselves, or you know to get a job at 14. Like, really,
Yep.
these kids should be in school.
Yep.
I never let my kids work. They were 16, 17, and 18. Their main priority was to focus on their education. How do kids in foster care focus on anything when they are mentally and emotionally and psychologically abused?
When there's no need for it, there ain't. When the election come, you know who to, just watch who you vote for. If they
Yes.
don't do their job, don't put them in the seat.
Well, that's it. And they do promise at the beginning that, yes, we'll help you. And then all of a sudden they get elected, and what do?
It's in
Brush
the
you
back.
under the table. And
It's
I find that's what's happening with our own politicians here in Canada. They promise you the world and then end up
Yep.
you're swept into the ground lower than dirt. It's
Exactly.
horrifying what we have to go through. So,
I don't think
Scott,
that's happening in Canada. I think that's happening around the world.
it's happening worldwide. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. I've got groups that are in the UK, from Sweden, Germany, Hungary, Spain, Africa. we're all dealing with the exact same corruption.
They
They're
get power
taking,
and they want more.
they want, yeah, this is how they're making money. I mean, these courthouses are gorgeous mansions, and yet they're empty due to COVID. And then the pandemic made it worse for kids to see, to get, visiting rights with a parent. It's just gone crazy. It's gone crazy.
And where do
But
you go
Scott,
from there? Where do you go
what's
from
your
there?
last? Give us your last thoughts before we sign off here.
My last thoughts is, you know, I would like to. Hopefully, something can be done with what's going on in in childcare. Instead of them making money, maybe they should be not making money by being fired.
Hmm.
Or take their job a little more serious. Because Jesse Chevalier does not take nothing serious. She don't even call back to nothing. She don't even call. She don't answer questions. That's not professional. I own a business. If somebody doesn't do their job, I fire them. You can't find workers nowadays even, but at least do your job. We're paying you to do your job. Don't take it out on the kids.
That's right.
You know, but unfortunately, I'll give you an update to see if they do anything about this because I'm talking on this, so that I'll let you know if they do anything with the grandkids, if they punish them because I'm talking.
Hmm. Yes, please do. I pray they don't. I pray, like, seriously, just because you come to get some help, to see where you can go to get these kids back into your care, and then to punish the kids for that, that is a criminal offense.
But they got punished for my wife writing a note to the judge.
That's unbelievable. I know I wrote to the judge too after my ex-husband got my teenagers. They were 15, 17, and 18, and I begged the judge to listen. And I got a reply back from the court system saying that I had no right to write to the judge and that I could have gone to prison. And I'm thinking, well, who else is going to listen to me? But at least it got in the system.
But what is it a crime to write to a judge?
Exactly. Why is it a crime? That judge was the one that did a crime. He allowed an abuser to take
Yeah,
my children. And when they do that, they should be held accountable for having the children messed up.
but
So you
that's
did
why they keep
nothing
doing it.
wrong. Your wife
No,
did nothing wrong. You did what a loving grandparent would do and write to the court system to help you with your grandchildren. Those children should be back in your home with your love
but
and your wife's love, not in foster care, being abused by people that have mental health issues themselves.
yeah, they get a little bit of power and they just want to bully everybody around without worrying about the kids' safety or nothing.
That's right. It's about power and control over you by
Yeah.
dangling the carrot so that, you watch your grandchildren suffer.
And then if we brush it under the rug, they keep doing it. That's why they keep doing it now because nobody does nothing.
That's right. And what we need to do is keep standing up just as you are doing right now. Scott, thank you so much for tuning in with us here on Let's Talk Real Talk on Parent Alienation and Family Domestic Violence. If there's anybody out there that can help Scott in Michigan, I urge you, please reach out to him, because if Scott can help his grandchildren, that means we have hope for our future grandchildren or grandchildren that, need help. Parent alienation is child abuse. It is mentally and emotionally and psychologically damaging our children to create more abusers in the future. Just so you know that these children grow up to be adults and eventually end up with one of your children that you've raised lovingly, hoping to have grandchildren of your own, to only have them stripped from you. This is a generational curse. And I urge everyone out there, please get educated and help someone that you know is going through severe alienation out there. Scott, It's Thanksgiving for us here in Canada. But I know yours is next month. But I want to wish everybody here in Canada a happy Thanksgiving, and don't give up on your children here in Canada or in the United States or in the UK, because your children did not deserve to be taken from you. Scott, once again, thank you. Parents, alienated children worldwide, anyone that wants to come out to Let's Talk Real Talk, please PM me and I'll get you onto the show so you can share your story and help the next individual out there fighting for their kids. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you. I'll give you an update then.
I appreciate that, Scott. We need to know what's going to happen. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep, bye-bye.